We just want to welcome our Sandy Ridge families to our second town hall meeting. We decided to do an additional town hall meeting for those who were not able to attend last week. And we also would like to provide translation during this meeting as well. So at this time, I'm going to first introduce myself to those who do not know me. I am Ms. Hinton, the principal, and I'll turn it over to Mr. English so that he can introduce himself. He is our assistant principal.
Hello, Mr. English, the assistant principal. So glad to see you all.
Thank you, Mr. English. Also wanted to recognize Ms. Allen. She is our magnet coordinator. Would you like to say anything, Ms. Allen?
Hi, welcome back and welcome to our new families.
Thank you. Do we have any teachers on the call that would like to recognize themselves tonight? Any support staff? Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Romo. She will be our translator for tonight. So would you like to say anything, Ms. Romo? Okay, hold on just a second. If you just bear with us for just a moment.
Buenas noches. Quería indicarles de que voy a trabajar con usted esta noche con la interpretación. Quería solicitarles si pueden, por favor, buscar en la parte inferior de la pantalla un botón que dice interpretación en español. Con luego de eso, pues ahí le va a poner una pantalla que dice Mute Original Audio. Significa que usted va a bajar, no va a tener el volumen, va a apagar el micrófono para el audio original, que sería la parte del inglés, y así usted puede escuchar la parte de español solamente. Si tiene alguna pregunta, por favor, antes de comenzar, es ahora a través del chat. Póngame alguna inquietud, si está todo claro, para poder comenzar.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Romo. I'm going to go ahead and assign you to the room.
En la parte superior, en la parte inferior de la pantalla hay un botón de interpretación. Usted hace un clic ahí, luego hace un clic también donde dice Mute Original Audio, a fin de que usted pueda escuchar la interpretación solamente y no escuchen el audio en inglés. Gracias. ¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta? Por favor, ahora es el momento de indicarnos. Las familias que requieran interpretación, hagan un clic en la parte donde está un mundo y ahí con eso escojan español. ¿Ya está mejor el audio? Bueno. Gracias. Continuamos entonces.
Okay. Okay, are you in the room, Ms. Roma? Okay, gotcha. Thank you. So at this time, I'll go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. And thank you for bearing with us. Again, we just want to welcome you tonight and thank you for joining our second town hall meeting. Again, we are so delighted to have all of our families with us tonight, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to hear additional updates about this upcoming school year. First of all, I would like to talk about how we will support our Sandy Ridge families this year. We want to make sure that we have consistent communication. Again, there will be Connect Eds. In the past, we've had weekly Connect Eds, which usually happen every Sunday. However, with remote learning, we may try to communicate in different platforms as well, just to make sure that we're keeping all of our families informed. We will do a back to school newsletter that will be emailed to all families sometime next week, early next week. We will continue to communicate via school messenger. So if you have not provided information for our online platform, or if you have not submitted information for Power School, if you are a new family, we would like for you to make sure that you're registered online so that you can receive updates via school messenger. Also, we want to make sure that our teachers have the opportunity to communicate with you as well. So I would like to inform you that each teacher will share their office hours, and every teacher will have at least 2 office hours per day. Most of our teachers have decided to offer office hours at the end of the school day. This year, we will be using the Canvas platform, so we will be communicating via Seesaw through our Canvas platform. And also, we hope that all of our parents are signed up for Class Dojo. We know that most of our families are already connected, especially if you were a student here last year. But if you are a new family, please be on the lookout for a text from your teacher. Every homeroom teacher at Sandy Ridge will utilize Class Dojo. And we will continue to communicate on our social media page. So if you have not connected to our school Facebook or Twitter page, you are more than welcome to, because those are other platforms that we will continue to communicate with throughout the school year. We will also provide tutorials. We are planning to upload at least 3 different videos this year. We will upload a video on how your student can potentially access Canvas. We will also upload a video or tutorial on how to access Seesaw. And also, for those of you who are new to DPS or may not know how to log into the Chromebook, we will provide a tutorial for how to do so. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we are supporting our families the best that we can. So we will offer a host of parent, or we will host a parent academy titled 101 Digital Parenting for those of you who may need additional support with Canvas, Seesaw, or simply how to log on. We will offer a virtual session on Tuesday, September 1st. And we will also offer a face-to-face session on Thursday, September 3rd. If you decide to do the face-to-face session, I would like to remind you that we will continue to practice social distancing, and parents will be required to wear face masks, and we will not have groups larger than 5. In addition to that, Mr. English and I We'll work diligently to continue to communicate with the staff and our families. So we will post virtual announcements daily on our school dojo page, and we will also give weekly student shout outs through via dojo. I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about our school master schedule. If you notice here, we will continue to have our same start and end time, which is 7:45 until 2:15. If you notice, every morning we will have Star Studio time, which is actually our morning meeting. We are working really diligently to make sure that we are teaching school-wide expectations for the first 10 days of school. And then following that 10th day, we will work on our SEL curriculum, which is social and emotional learning. So each day our students will be learning about zones of regulations and so forth. In addition to that, for those of you who may have potentially been on the call last week, we've made some changes to our master schedule. Originally, we had 45 minutes for our literacy block, but we have decided to increase that block of time to 1 hour so that we can allow our students and staff to have the opportunity to participate in small and both whole group instruction. As you can see, there are several breaks throughout the day as well, because we want to make sure that our students have the time to wind down and our staff as well. And also we have a 45-minute math block, which will be from 9:15 until 10 o'clock. And there's also an intervention in small group instructional block that's built within our master schedule as well. This will be a time for our staff to pull small groups for literacy and math if students need additional support. In addition to that, we will have our EC, ESL, Tier 2, and AIG pullouts during this time as well. We have approximately 30 minutes for with a device-free lunch. And our enrichment block will be for 30 minutes. We have created a school-wide enrichment block, so each child will participate in our enrichment classes at some time throughout the day for 30 minutes, starting at 10:15 every day. And as you notice, there's a break after our enrichment, and then we have 45 minutes of science, social studies, or STEM. And we are also offering 1 hour of asynchronous learning time at the end of the day, or intervention and student check-in. We want to make sure that we're giving our students the time to work on additional assignments or choice boards, and this will be an opportunity for them to work on things that the teacher assigns, or perhaps things that they may need to make up or need additional assistance in. And I do want to point out that on Wednesday, we will have Wellness Wednesday. So this day has been designated for our school counselors and our social worker to collaborate and assign different tasks and assignments and support to our students for social and emotional learning. Enrichment will continue on this day, and we will also have additional time to pull small groups as well if our guidance counselor and school social worker decides to. I do want to spend just a little bit of time sharing our social and emotional curriculum, which is zones of regulations. These are some pictures that our school counselors put together to kind of help us show families some things that we're doing here at Sandy Ridge. Just to talk just a little bit about Wellness Wednesdays. I just want to remind you that the first 15 minutes of instruction will be designated to Star Studio time, which is basically social and emotional learning. So we will work diligently to make sure that all of our students understand the zones of regulations and what each color represents. And also we will work diligently to make sure that our school counselors and social workers are having the opportunity to check in with students and families as needed. We are also planning to do pre-recorded lessons so that students have the option to perhaps click on their choice board at a later time and do assignments as needed throughout the day on Wellness Wednesdays. or perhaps it could be in the evening or whenever your student is available to log on. We want to offer choice boards so that students have the opportunity to participate in different activities and so forth. Durham Public Schools is also partnering with other community partners throughout Durham to make sure that we have a variety of activities to do for Wellness Wednesday, in addition to what our school counselors and our social workers plan. We will also be partnering with Kids Notes as well. So if your child is a participant of Kids Notes, they will have the opportunity to do lessons during that time as well. And we will work diligently to upload videos in the form of, or upload videos to give them the opportunity to continue learning during Wellness Wednesday. And I also want to speak really briefly about restorative practices. Ms. LaBar is our restorative practice coach, and we also have our school, she's also a part of school counseling along with Ms. Brown, and our social worker is basically working really hard to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our students socially and emotionally. You know, they've been out of school for a really long time, so it's really important that we're meeting those needs as well and just trying to transition them back into school at some point. In addition to that, I would like to speak about device distribution. As you know, we started our device distribution this week with first and second grade on Monday and third and fourth grade on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we had to postpone our fifth grade and kindergarten distribution. Our devices are currently on back order, and we're planning to get those at any point. And once we receive those Chromebooks, we will make sure that we reach out to families and let them know that they are available and you will have the opportunity to pick up those devices. At this time, there is no timeline for that, but we are hoping that it will be very soon. We did have the opportunity to, well, we found out today that we received some hotspots. So families who completed the survey in the spring and showed a need for a hotspot, those hotspots will be available, and we'll be reaching out to those families so that you can come to the school to pick those up. Unfortunately, we were only given a certain amount, so we can only give those out to parents who have requested them during the spring. And I would like to remind you that we do have our virtual open house, which will be held tomorrow. Pre-K and first grade will be held at 4 o'clock. Second and third will be held at 5 o'clock, and fourth and fifth grade will be held at 6 o'clock. And we tried to stagger those times for families who may have multiple children in different grade levels, but those links are available on School Dojo, our Facebook page, and Messenger. And if you have any questions pertaining to that, you can contact your child's teacher or Ms. Carolyn Allen.
Also, the first grade links were just updated about an hour ago. So if you copied the link down earlier, check again.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Allen. And I do want to speak about Zoom meeting rules. We've been Zooming since approximately February, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a really long time since we've been on Zoom. However, I want to just remind you that we need to keep in mind that we do need to adhere to Zoom etiquette. So I would like to just share really quickly some of the things that we're teaching students to do on Zoom. Of course, we need to make sure that we are maintaining a quiet zone. So I would like to recommend that you find a quiet meeting place within the house. I know for some households, this may be impossible. You may have multiple children on Zoom, or you may be an essential worker and you may be working from home, but at all costs, if you can find some quiet place in the home so that we can make sure that we're able to maximize instructional time. In addition to that, we're gonna teach students how to mute their microphone. And I know this will be really key for our primary grades, but those are some things that we will teach our students how to do if they don't know at this point. And also being able to raise your hand within the chat is very important as well, because most of the Zoom sessions most of our students will start off on mute in the Zoom session. So we want to make sure that they know how to raise their hand so that teachers can recognize them. In addition to that, when you're called on, make sure you unmute your microphone, and also being patient and allowing others to talk and being respectful. And last but not least, leaving the meeting once the meeting ends. Sometimes we have like little chats or whatever after Zoom, but based on the schedule that we have this year for the 2020-2021 school year, we have to adhere to a concrete schedule, and there will be lots of sessions and activities and intervention going on. So we want to make sure that we're hopping on and off Zoom as necessary. And also, I would like to remind you that every teacher will have a Canvas platform for this school year. So we have invested about $3,000 in Seesaw. So every K-5 student does have a Seesaw account, and that link will be embedded within Canvas. And we will also have Google Classrooms in some of our upper grade level classrooms as well. And I do want to remind you that I'm sure that some of you signed up for the Ignite program. So if you originally signed up for Ignite, once we transition from Plan C to Plan B, the district will inform us how we will continue with planning for the Ignite program. So let me give you a quick example. If we end remote learning after the first 9 weeks, if you signed up for Ignite, you may have the option to continue or have your student continue learning through Ignite versus them coming back to the building for instruction. But more details will follow, and I hope you guys are really excited about coming back to school, because we have lots of new things happening this year. I know that, it's just a different time now, and students are really anxious about starting school and, having devices and so forth. So we did send out a link via Messenger. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. English, and he's going to respond to all of the questions that were asked via Messenger through the link that was sent out. And once he finishes with those questions, if you have any additional questions that were not answered during this presentation, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we will respond to all of those questions. Thank you.
Okay, so I just have a few questions that were asked. First question was, when will they receive their laptops? Again, as was stated, we are just waiting on the back order. They could be any day, but what we do ask is that you definitely communicate with us. So if you do not have any devices at home that your child could start out on maybe on Monday, please make sure that that's communicated with your teacher, and just keep us updated, because the more accurate we can be with our count, the better chance we have of actually securing maybe more devices. So right now they just kind of gave us a bulk number, but we don't know exactly how many people actually need those devices. So if you could just communicate that your child is unable to log on to anything because of the lack of device, that would be great. Can the school recommend any assistance for parents that work during the day? I know that is a great challenge, great question, and I know that's a great challenge. So the best recommendation we would say right now is, again, it's just the communication piece. So if you are working during the day, please communicate that with your teacher, because we've talked with our teachers, and they are equipped and they're ready to make sure that all students are reached and the learning still goes on. So they will make those exceptions, and they will definitely work with you. So if you will just communicate that, it may be specific days when it's more challenging than others, but if you'll be very specific, very clear, and make sure that communication happens, then we can work around that, because we do understand that in this time, in this situation, that there are going to be some challenges. And if you're unable to make it, for example, if my child can't log on in the morning, but they could probably pick up in the afternoon, just make sure that's communicated rather than them not logging on for like 3 days and we don't really know what's going on. So just make sure that's clear. So we'll definitely work with you on that. What are our children going to be doing basically? So again, there'll be normal class, just virtual. So they will get live teaching instruction. They will be given opportunities to log off of their computer to do some independent practice. Through some of these platforms, they'll be able to demonstrate whether they understand or not. They will still complete some assessments. So it will be your normal school day, just done virtually. So it's a little bit different, but the expectations are still there. So we will, of course, do our best to attend everything on our child's schedule, but will students be penalized for non-attendance if they sometimes just cannot mentally or emotionally handle another Zoom call on a given day? And again, we totally understand that. So you use your discretion as a parent, make sure you support your child the best way possible. But again, just make sure that's communicated. Just let teachers know if you feel like they're burning out, you're getting to that wall. We definitely don't want to force them to stay on that Zoom meeting. But again, we want to try to give enough breaks to where they are able to participate as much as possible. So just keep that communication going. Will all the links be to the various platforms be available in one place? That is the goal. So Canvas should be the house where you should get all the links that you need. That is the goal, because we definitely don't want you to have to bounce around to different sites and all those things. So again, that's what we want to make it as convenient as possible, as user-friendly as possible. And this final question, does Sandy Ridge share contact information of other families so we can support one another? Ms. Allen, you may be able to speak to that. I'm not sure if we do right now, but that would be a great thing, especially during this time, possibly. But, you know, we would have to have, of course, you know, parental permission to do that. We wouldn't just assume because we have your information to do that. So we would have to figure out a way to do that.
We could perhaps set up some sort of form for those who are interested in sharing their information. That's okay with administration. I can head that up.
That is an option. However, we can't freely provide contact information because it's a violation of FERPA. Perhaps we can have further discussion about that later.
Maybe PTA could create some sort of Facebook group or something. Joy?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we can channel that through PTA. I also would like to add to that attendance is required daily. Teachers are required to take attendance by 10 o'clock. And we will also have a wellness team, which will consist of the school counselor, social worker, English as a second language teacher. We also will have at least one person to support every homeroom throughout the school for the first 10 days of instruction. So for an example, if you're not logging in to your class within the first 15 minutes of instruction of your literacy block, more than likely you will receive some type of phone call, text, or email or dojo message following up with you just to make sure that you're okay, because we want to make sure that we're providing support to our families. And following the first 10 days of school, we will have at least one person supporting each grade level so that we can continue to check in and provide additional support to families. So again, I want to reiterate, attendance will be taken at 10 o'clock daily. Let me give you just an example. If you are an essential worker and you may not be home during the day, or your child may be going to grandma's house where there's no internet, as long as you are communicating your circumstance to the teacher and we're keeping an open line of communication, that child will be accounted for. But we do want to make sure that that student is still able to complete the work somehow. We know that there are some issues with internet and connection and devices at this point. So we want to make sure that we're being as flexible as possible with families. Again, it's all about communication and just making sure that we know what your particular circumstance is.
One of the questions from the chat was, is there a printable version of the schedule?
Yes, DPS will actually be posting all of the school schedules at some point. We will make our schedule, we will post our schedule on our school website. It is available. And when you log into your virtual open house sessions tomorrow, your teachers will talk specifically about the schedule, because some of our schedules vary based on our enrichment block. But I just want to inform you that every single grade level has at least 45 minutes of math, at least 1 hour of literacy instruction, and at least 45 minutes of social studies and or science, and 30 minutes of enrichment, and a 30-minute device-free lunch. So, but your teachers will share the specific schedule with you and the Zoom links tomorrow during open house.
Also in the comments, one of our counselors, Ms. Brown, shared the school counseling website. That's also available under quick links on our school webpage. If you haven't checked out our webpage, that's a great place to get information. We update it very frequently, so please check that out. Ms. Brown, did you want to add to that?
No, just that we are constantly updating it. So some of the things that you'll be hearing about right now are in the process of being updated to add to the counseling website. And I'm taking some of your family feedback too, of ways that counselors can support families as well, especially with communicating with one another. So thank you for this.
Our PTA president, Joy Malone, posted a link to the Sandy Ridge PTA Facebook page, so please check that out. Is School Messenger the same thing as the text messages that we receive from the school, or is that a different platform? Yes, the text messages and emails that you receive, the emails down at the bottom have a little message about Durham Public Schools. It's a standard message that goes on there. But yes, those emails that I send out, sometimes Ms. Hinton will send them out, and the text messages, those come through School Messenger. And the Connect Dead calls, the phone calls, the automated calls that you receive, those also go through School Messenger. You might also hear them referred to as Connect Dead phone calls.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
That is all we have in the comments. I will put the link for the school webpage on here as well. There's a comment. I noticed that second and third grade open house occur at the same time. On the website, there are different links. I have children in both grade levels. Will they be recorded?
Yes, they will be recorded.
And how will children that need an IEP be supported?
That's a great question. We actually have three EC teachers, and Ms. Madre will support our kindergarten and first grade students. Ms. Delicia Douglas is new to us this year. She transferred from within the district. She will support our second and third grade students. And Mr. Ian Simcoe, he's a new teacher. He's coming all the way from California. He's going to support fourth and fifth grade students. So we will adhere to every student's IEP, and they're working diligently to create a schedule that is conducive of learning and making sure that they're being pulled out for various subject areas. And what we're doing for some parents is scheduling Zoom meetings for the next 2 weeks just to speak about the IEP. We've already provided a copy of the IEP to every homeroom teacher because we want to make sure that we are adhering to those needs. But every student that has an IEP will continue to receive support during remote learning.
There were a couple of questions in Spanish in the comments. Were those able to be answered, Ms. Romo?
Okay, I'm going to address this other question. It says, how will children that need an IEP be supported? Sorry, should have, okay. So children who need an IEP, I think that the best way to address this is to inform your teacher that there are concerns about your child potentially needing an IEP. And we do have a student support services team here at the school, and we can basically start the process. So if you can inform your child's teacher, we will go from there, and we will contact a meeting or contact you to schedule a meeting via Zoom, and we can talk about your concerns and start the plan. We do have an MTSS team, which we take a look at behavior data, instructional data, and any other support or interventions that your child may need. The registration for Ignite is closed currently. Okay, were there any other questions, Ms. Allen?
Other than the ones that were submitted in Spanish, I'm not sure if those were able to be answered. I'm sorry, I don't. She said yes. Okay, so we're good.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Ms. Roma. Ms. Malone, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks. I've seen, as we've been on the call, I've seen where some people have gone to our PTA Facebook page and liked our page. So if you or any other families are not connected with us, please connect with us on Facebook, as well as follow us on Class Dojo to learn information of what's going on in our PTA, on how you can get involved. I know this year will be different, but we will work as a PTA board to make sure that you get the information to support our students, as well as our staff and our administration team. So please follow us. There will be information posted later this week and next week on how we will be offering reduced membership for a certain period of time. So definitely look for information on that via Facebook Class Dojo, and also we may work with Ms. Hinton and Mr. English to do Connect Ed messages.
Thank you, Ms. Malone.
Okay, I was able to translate this last question that was submitted in Spanish from someone who says she did not send her daughter. I believe that she didn't apply through the lottery. If that is the case, if you did not apply through the lottery and get accepted for this year, unfortunately, we don't have any more seats available. So you would need to reapply in January of next year.
Okay, are there any additional questions? Okay, so again, we would just like to say thank you for taking the time to meet with us this evening. And we want to do whatever we can to support you during this remote learning time. We are always just a phone call, an email, or a dojo message away. So again, thank you for taking the opportunity to meet with us, and we hope that we were able to respond to all of your questions and concerns. And we hope that you have a wonderful evening. And Mr. English, would you like to say anything?
Good, thank you.
Okay, have a good evening. Thank you so much.